Hey everyone, so with the recent 2.5 livestream confirming both of the reruns coming to Genshin, the big question on everyone's mind is who should I summon for, Raiden or Kokomi? And so, let me tell you the pros and cons of each one and which one you should summon for. So Raiden and Kokomi are coming to Genshin very soon, and man am I excited. So firstly, Raiden is an amazing character that can be fit into so many parties, but excels at national teams as well as EULA teams, and is one of my most favorite characters who, since her release not that long ago, I have been using all the time. Now, she is good at filling that sub DPS role, but also works as a battery that can provide a ton of energy and damage if built right. Now, one downside about her is that, or rather not her exactly, but that of her element, is that electro reactions aren't the greatest. And aside from the obvious pairing with EULA due to the super contact reaction, which is a niche reaction that is for physical damage dealers only, it's unlikely she will be in any other teams. But what about Kokomi? Well, Kokomi is quite different to Raiden, as the biggest difference between the two are their roles. Raiden is a damage dealer, whereas Kokomi is more of a support for the most part. So I have spoken about the usefulness of both roles many times, but to state it again, supports for the most part are always much more useful than damage dealers, as their abilities and such are very valuable. However, in saying all of this, she can also be played as a damage dealer, especially with the artifact set the Ocean Hued Clam, which helps out her damage by quite a bit, although she is still much more suited to that support role, and there are much better damage dealers to choose from if you are thinking about that. But it's still important to note, as Raiden cannot support her teammates, and so Kokomi has a bit more flexibility, being able to be played as both a damage dealer and support. But now, to talk about her supporting capabilities a bit more, her main role will be to be the team's main healer, and healers themselves were before release in an awkward spot, as oftentimes you would never need that much healing and would much rather run a shield character like Zhongli, for example, who was the go-to shield character, and for the majority of the content in the game you will still want to run a shield character. However, that all changed once Corrosion came into the game, as with Corrosion it arguably made shield characters a lot worse, as they could no longer shield the damage coming in with the shield and required you to run a healing character. Now, for the most part, someone like Bennett will do okay, but when the tougher Corrosion stages come, whether it be the Spiral Abyss or the event stages, you will need a good healing character, and that is where Kokomi comes in, as she is the perfect healer to keep everyone in your team topped up and make sure that none of them dies when corroded. Now, this is the best part of Kokomi. It's also one of the only uses of Kokomi, as outside of healing can't do much else, and so if you aren't up against any corrosion, then it's much better to run a shield character if you need a support. And so for free to play players who are trying to save up their pre-build gems, it may be a lot to just summon for Kokomi just for those corrosion stages. And so, Raiden or Kokomi? Well, I think it's pretty clear. If you're looking for another damage dealer who's extremely good in a sub DPS or battery role, and one that has a wicked character design, or are you looking for one of the best healers in the game that can carry your team throughout stages with corrosion, then look no further than Kokomi. And so I think the big decision will be damage versus support. As while Kokomi can do damage, again, she's much suited to a support role. Also to note is their character design, which is very important to many players' decisions, as most of the time their decision is which waifu do they want next. Now personally, I already have Raiden, and she is one of my most favorite characters to play, and so while I won't be summoning for either of them this time around, I might try and get her best in slot weapon and hope I don't get Kokomi's donut weapon. But anyways, that's just me. What about you? Who will you summon for? Leave a comment down below, and as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.